Today on Metro Woman, we're traveling across Iowa to visit some very special women. We're visiting with some of the members of the Iowa 99s chapter.
The 99s date back to the early 1900s by a special invitation from Amelia Earhart to over 117 women pilots. The name was formed when only 99 of those 117 showed up to begin this new all-women flying organization. Today, the 99s have over 5,500 members that span over 35 countries. And the Iowa chapter hosts 4 very special women that we caught up with.
First, we're headed to Osceola to visit with Mary Ellen Kimball and Kelma Higgins.
I started flying basically because my husband flies. He has flown ever since I've known him, and it just seemed as though more and more time we were together, it made sense for me to be able to handle and understand the airplane also. I joined the 99s because I was invited by Kelma Higgins. Kelma has been a pilot for a long time. I met her here at the Osceola Airport. She told me about the organization, the support group, the fun they had, the purpose. They do scholarships and service projects, and I wanted to be a part of that also. I'm involved in several aviation groups. One is the EAA, which is the Experimental Aircraft Association, and that's because we have built a couple of airplanes. The Iowa Aviation Promotion Group, that's a statewide organization that promotes aviation, women in aviation, and of course then the 99s. For me, the hardest part was learning a lot of the navigation and the book work, handling the numbers and the calculations. The actual flying, takeoff, landing, the maneuvers, I love all of that, but I wanted 100% on the written test, and so I really studied hard. I've had memorable moments both on the ground and in the air. Most recently, on the ground, my memorable moment was when a UPS woman pilot found out about me from a National Library ad that I did. She flies into Des Moines. She contacted me and asked if I would like to rendezvous with my Cessna 150 and her Airbus at the airport. We did that. I was invited to go up and see her cockpit and how she does things. But what was really fun, she just put my plane right under her wing. One of my most memorable flights was a solo flight where my instructor got out of the airplane at the Des Moines airport, told me to make 5 touch and goes, good ones. And each one wasn't good enough, and I probably did 8 or 9 of them to the point where it was getting dark. And the tower called and told me that I was not allowed as a student to fly it in dark and to get down out of the sky right away. If you would like to fly, meet a pilot and arrange to take a flight. Most any pilot that I know loves to have people fly with them. Ask them questions, hang out around an airport, maybe get online, learn a little bit more about aviation. But it's the one-on-one contact, the actual going up in the airplane, that's the magic of it.
Mary Ellen is really an inspiration to women who would like to learn to fly. Another 99s member from Osceola is Kelma Higgins. We'd love to talk with her and find out why she joined the 99s and what inspired her to learn to fly.
The reason I wanted to get into flying was because of my husband. He actually had gotten his pilot's license in 1970, and he liked to fly. He aspired to have his own airplane, and we were both graduates of the University of Nebraska, and each year we tried to go to a football game, and if the weather was cooperative, we tried to fly over. And one night we were coming back after the game, flying in the dark over Omaha, and I said to him, what will happen if something happens to you? And he said it appeared to him that I was going to die. And I said, you know, my choice to be up here, but look at all these people below that are going to die because I don't know how to handle the airplane. And so my intent was to learn just to land the airplane, but actually by the time I learned to land it, I knew how to do everything else also. My main inspiration are the other women in the 99s. Iowa is a small chapter. We do have 22 members, but only 6 or 7 that are very active. And I am amazed at the things these women do. And my thought is, if they can do it, then I can certainly do it also. And they are a great support in encouraging you to do that. I might also add that we have very active 49.5s, which are our significant others, and they also are very supportive. I joined the 99s shortly after I got my license because of another woman inviting me. Her name was Helene Holton, and she had been in the 99s for many, many years. And she invited me to join, and I listened to what she had to say and thought it sounded like an organization I would be very interested in becoming a member of. There is no question that landing the airplane was the hardest part of learning to fly. I got through the written exam in very good shape. I could take off in any kind of winds. I could fly you any place. I could navigate. I could fly the pattern. I could get you clear down to about 10 feet of the runway. And that was my bugaboo, the last 10 feet. The most memorable moment I had, the one that I like to remember, was about 3 years ago when 3 99s flew together to a section meeting in Lincoln, Nebraska. Shortly after that meeting, one of them and her husband were in an airplane crash and were both killed. So it is very nice to remember that flight. Advice I would give to someone who is learning to fly is to first go to your local airport and just hang out and get to know the people. And you will find that people that are interested in aviation have a common thread, and they're very, very supportive of each other. If you happen to be a woman, I would suggest that you find a 99 because they will be a great inspiration and support for you also.
More from the Iowa 99's members when we come back on Metro Woman. Today on Metro Woman, we're visiting with some of the members of the Iowa 99's chapter, a women's aviation organization founded by Amelia Earhart. We've talked with 2 of the members from Osceola, and now we're visiting with Deb McGee from the Knoxville Airport.
I joined the 99s because of the camaraderie and just that it is a women's organization. I actually was taking flying lessons out of Osceola, and Kelma Higgins flew in one day when I was down there, and she kind of introduced me to the 99s, and I had told her at that point, I've heard of the 99s, and when I get my license, I'll probably join. She says, oh, you don't have to be a pilot to join. She says, you can join, as you're learning to fly. And so I did, and I actually credit the 99s with the fact that it gave me inspiration to go ahead and keep working at getting my license, just because, I paid the dues, I've been going to the meetings, and it's like, well, gosh, if I don't get my pilot's license, I'm going to have to quit, so that they really gave me the inspiration to keep going on to get my license. When I fly, the way I feel is happy. I enjoy the scenery. And of course I fly a lot with my husband, and we're usually going on a trip, going to see some relatives, or, with the 99s, a lot of times we'll go to different airports for our meeting. And sometimes we'll even get a call on a Sunday morning if it's a nice day and say, hey, we're going to Prairie du Chien for lunch. You want to go? So it's a lot of impromptu things, and it's just a lot of fun. I would just encourage people, and women especially, if you have any idea that you would like to learn to fly, to go for it. And the 99s is such a great organization to, for women to get together, and they're very supportive. The guys even have a lot of fun. I mean, the guys come with us, and they're called the 49.5s. And while we have our meetings, then they're hangar flying, off to the side, and we always go out and eat. But it's just a lot of fun. And you know, the 99s does good things as well as like educational. We've been to Girl Scout outings, you know, and teach them about flying, and we also raise money for scholarships for women who, or girls who would like to take up flying as a career. So it's for women whether they just want to have fun flying or whether they want to make a career of it. But it's a good organization for support. It is a lot of work, I mean, to get through, and there's a written test you have to pass, and the hours that you stay with an instructor, and then there's the solo as well. But I mean, there's just something about, especially a nice sunny calm day, you get up and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful up there, and it's so peaceful. And you know, I think a lot of people are maybe afraid of smaller planes, and they are a little bouncier, I guess, than some of the commercial planes. But it's once you get used to it, it's just a lot of fun. The hardest part is the landing, and it's more of a depth perception type of a thing. And I think younger kids that have been used to playing video games and things like that, I think they have a easier time than an older woman like me that starts to learn how to fly, you know, after 40. Well, my husband's a pilot. He actually learned to fly approximately 20 years ago, and at that time I didn't really want to learn to fly, but I did take a lesson just to make sure that, you know, if something would happen when we were up, that I would know how to run the radios and know what a rudder was, and somebody could talk me down. And the guy that gave me the lesson said, "So you want to know how to crash the plane and walk away?" And I go, "That's it." Didn't really want to learn how to fly, but this time he got interested again, about 3 years ago. And the plane that we bought, which is in the background, we plan to, when we retire, take quite a few trips in it. And we've actually taken a couple of trips so far. And so this time I decided I would learn how to fly as well. And it's safer to have two pilots, I think, and then we can take turns, you know, with the flying on long trips. So I think it'll work pretty good, and it is fun. So
More from the Iowa 99's members when we come back on Metro Woman.